If I could do it again, I wouldn't have chosen him. The words slid into my ear like a shard of glass. I hadn't meant to hear them. I was only a few feet away, adjusting my tie near the edge of the crowded ballroom while my wife leaned close to her friend. Her voice was low, meant for no one else, but the music softened just enough in that moment for the sentence to cut clear through the noise. For a second, I thought I'd misheard. My chest tightened as I froze in place, my hand still at my collar. The chandelier above scattered warm light across polished floors, laughter swirled, champagne glasses clinked, but the world around me blurred to silence. I wanted to turn, to demand clarity, but my body wouldn't move. Instead, I stood like a man watching his house burn through a window, unable to shout, unable to act. The wedding was for my cousin, and the whole family had gathered. My wife, Sarah, looked radiant that evening, her emerald dress hugging her figure, her hair curled just enough to fall over one shoulder. She smiled often, laughed with ease, and to anyone watching, we seemed like the perfect couple. Yet inside me, something began to rot. During dinner, I replayed her words again and again. If I could do it again, I wouldn't have chosen him. Did she mean me? Of course she did. Who else could him be? But then came denial. Maybe she was joking, maybe teasing about an ex, maybe exaggerating to amuse her friend. Sarah had always been quick-witted, prone to sarcasm. Yes, that was it. Surely. Still, I couldn't ignore the way she avoided my eyes when I returned to the table. Her smile flickered, then steadied. She leaned closer to her friend again, whispering something that drew a stifled laugh. I chewed my food in silence, each bite tasting of ash. Later, when the dance floor opened, she pulled me up by the hand. "Come on, don't be so serious," she said, her laugh light as she spun. Her dress twirled, catching the light, her perfume rising with the movement. I tried to smile back, but the words were lodged like a hook in my chest. I searched her face looking for cracks, but she only looked back with that same practiced brightness. When the song ended, she excused herself to the restroom. I watched her weave through the crowd, then disappear behind a door. I don't know what possessed me, but I stood and followed, not into the restroom, but close enough to see where she went next. She didn't go inside. She turned the corner and met her friend again, the one she'd whispered to earlier. I stepped closer, keeping to the shadows of the hallway. Their voices carried faintly. "You still talk to him?" her friend asked. Sarah hesitated, then nodded. "Sometimes. He understands me in ways Mark never could." "Mark? Me?" My stomach dropped. Her friend glanced around nervously. "Sarah, you're married. You have to let go." Sarah's answer came like a whisper pressed against my ribs. "If I could go back, I'd choose differently. I know it. I should have stormed in. I should have demanded the truth. Instead, I stood there, suffocating in silence, while my wife confessed her regrets to someone else. The rest of the night dragged. She danced, laughed, clinked glasses, while I drowned in the weight of my own stillness. I nodded when spoken to, forced smiles for family photos, but inside, a storm built with no outlet. That night, when we returned home, I lay awake beside her. She slipped into bed, turned her back to me, and within minutes her breathing slowed. I stared at the ceiling, the faint glow of the streetlight painting lines across the room. Memories flooded in. Our wedding day, the vows, the first apartment we shared, late-night talks, small touches, promises whispered in the dark. Were they lies? Were they placeholders until someone better came along? I wanted to shake her awake, to confront her right there, but fear kept me still. Fear of the answer. Fear that the life I'd built was already rubble. Days passed and the distance grew. I noticed how often she checked her phone, the way her smile lingered longer on the screen than it did for me. She stayed late at work more often, her excuses vague. I tried to rationalize. Maybe I was imagining things, letting paranoia twist me. But her words from the wedding haunted me. Finally, one evening, I found the courage, or the recklessness, to check her phone while she showered. My hands shook as I unlocked it. The messages were there. Dozens of them. Some innocent, some not. A man's name I didn't recognize. Compliments. Flirtation. Memories they shared from before me. And one line that shattered me entirely. "You were always the one, not him." I dropped the phone like it had burned me. My breath came shallow, my chest tightening. It wasn't just suspicion anymore. It was truth. When she came out of the shower, towel wrapped around her, she noticed my face instantly. What's wrong? I couldn't even form words. I just looked at her. Tears threatening but refusing to fall. Her eyes narrowed, then flicked to the phone on the bed. For a second, panic flashed across her face. Then came calm. She sat down, sighing deeply. I never wanted you to find out this way. Her voice was quiet, almost gentle, as if she were confessing a sin she'd already forgiven herself for. My throat tightened. So it's true. She didn't answer at first. Then softly, yes. Silence filled the room, heavy as lead. Why? I finally asked. My voice cracked. Why marry me if you still wanted him? She looked down at her hands. Because I thought I could move on. I thought choosing you was safer, steadier. And I do love you, Mark. But not the way I loved him. The words hit harder than any blow. Safer. Steadier. I wasn't her love. I was her compromise. In the days that followed, I moved through life like a ghost. I went to work, I answered calls, I smiled at neighbors, but inside I was hollow. Nights were the worst, lying next to her, wondering if she was dreaming of him. I thought about confronting the man, demanding he leave her alone. But deep down, I knew the problem wasn't him. It was her choice, her betrayal, her truth spoken in whispers she never thought I'd hear. And I thought about leaving. Packing a bag, walking out, never looking back. But then I'd see our wedding photo on the mantel, her smile so bright, my arm wrapped around her. And the weight of what I was losing would paralyze me. The final straw came one evening when she left her phone on the counter, while cooking. A message lit up the screen. I miss you. When can I see you again? She didn't even hide it anymore. I stood there, staring at the words, my heart hammering. She turned, saw me holding the phone, and for the first time she didn't bother with excuses. She just looked at me, her expression almost resigned. And in that moment, I realized the truth. I wasn't fighting for her. I was fighting for an illusion that had already died. That night, I packed a bag. She watched silently, tears glistening but unshed. Mark, she whispered. I stopped at the door, my chest tight, my voice raw. You had me. All of me. And it wasn't enough. I hope one day, when you're chasing ghosts, you realize what you threw away. Then I walked out, the sound of the door closing behind me echoing like the final note of a song. The betrayal didn't end that night. It lingered, like smoke in my lungs. But as I stepped into the cool air, a strange clarity came. Sometimes the most painful truth isn't losing someone you love. It's realizing they never truly loved you at all.